It's been a while since I did a deck profile, and I apologize for that, but luckily I have some more planned. A lot of Maximum Crisis stuff's coming in the mail, but while that is still not here, I wanted to update a deck that I really enjoy. I think a lot of you know I like the Phantom Knight cards a lot. This particular build is sort of a modernized Burning Abyss Phantom Knight deck. I don't even think this deck is that terrible. I think it's a pretty solid rogue option if you maybe got out of the game for a couple months and then you're getting back and you're like, oh, these dinosaurs and two Dracos. I like this deck because it has a versatile set of outs to Masterpiece. You have a trap card, you have spell cards, you have monster effects to get rid of it, because Masterpiece can only be unaffected by two of those. So as long as you have the one that's not unaffected by, you're good. But anyway, I think that in general, this deck is just still hard for a lot of decks to deal with. Maybe not the top meta, but floaters are tough to deal with when they just never stop. And yeah, I think a lot of people are underestimating Burning Mist Phantom Knights going forward. But anyway, let's get into the deck profile and I kind of explain how I made some of these decisions. This is not a grass version, by the way. I feel like grass is really risky with Ghost Ash being out and just stopping grass immediately. Anyway, though, for the Phantom Knights, we're playing 3 boots, 2 cloak, and 1 gloves. I felt that this was pretty standard. You don't really have room for anything else. I really tried to keep this as close to 40 as possible. It's 42 right now, but yeah, these guys are cool. I mean, they just give you a lot of momentum, and Fogblade I still feel is really good. So yeah, gotta play those guys. They're like my favorite part of the deck as well, so maybe I'm a little biased. But anyway, for the Burning Abyss, the only 3 of is Skarm. I did have to cut Farfa to 2. We, like I said, there's not a lot of room in here. I'm already playing 42. I really tried to cut it to 40, but I couldn't. But by cutting the Farfa to 2, we at least didn't have that much clogginess. You don't really need more than 2 anyway. And then for the one-ofs, we have Graf, Seer, Barbar, Kelcab, Libic, and then Shitty Gold Rare, Alec. These are all just like cards that you can tutor out of the deck. You really would just want to draw different names so you can make more rank 3s and stuff, because if you draw multiples of these and you can't special summon them all, and that's sort of the idea with that. And then you want to diversify your mills as well so that they're not just like waste. Moving forward, we have 1 tour guide and 2 Fiendish Rhino Warriors. Felt that this was a pretty good number to go by. I love Fiendish Rhino because it's like any Burning Abyss you need. It's also a good post-side deck when you can like prevent your Vanity's Fiend from being destroyed by stuff, so that's kind of neat. We are obviously playing Terratop. This was the deck that made it famous. Tactomborg. This card isn't even that bad in this particular version because we make Leviair a lot, so you can special summon this from your hand. So it's not nearly as bricky as it is in other decks. So obviously got to play that. The 1-Maxi, you probably never draw it, but man, when you do, it'll be pretty good. And then one tech I'm playing is Lava Golem. I don't really like Kaijus just in general. I feel like they're always like the worst card in my hand, but I understand Kaijus are good, and I understand that Raw Sphere mode is good for getting rid of whole fields, but I like Lava Golem because it's sort of a middle ground. You don't really need your normal summon in this deck. The only stuff you're normal summoning is usually the Phantom Knights, but that's only really turn 1 anyway, because when you get later into turns, you can just special summon them with like Fogblade and stuff. But outside of that, you're like special summoning the Terratop, special summoning the Burning Abyss monsters. So you don't need your normal summon. And I feel like a lot of times your opponent has 2 monsters on board, not 3, and you can just Lava Gold them. And then, yeah, I think it's pretty good out, stuff like that. I mean, it's just faster. It's faster to get rid of like a Trident and a. I mean, some of the regional results are coming in from this weekend. It looks like Metalfoe Zoo True Draco is pretty popular. So Lava Golem sort of outs their standard fields. Anyway, we also have 3 Allure of Darkness. This card is a lot less risky than Pot of Desires, which I guess I'll put that. So we're playing 2 Pot of Desires as well. Ghost Ash like fucks Pot of Desires up. It doesn't really affect Allure too much because you don't have to banish. It's not a cost to banish. You draw and then banish, so you don't get screwed by Ghost Ash with Allure. But with Desires, man, it's pretty risky. You just kind of have to take a chance. I don't know. If they have it, they have it. They won't always have it, or sometimes they're going to use it on other stuff. But yeah, try to use this last so you don't just get fucked by banishing 10 and then not drawing anything. We're also playing 2 Twin Twister for back row. I wanted to play MST almost, but I feel like this card is just too good because it discards stuff, so that's why we're playing that one. And then 2 Forbidden Chalice. This is a really versatile card. I like it a lot. I've been playing it in pretty much every deck that I've posted this past couple months. Pretty much ever since Zodiacs came out, I like Chalice. And yeah, it's just a good card. It does a lot of stuff. 1 Foolish and 1 Soul Charge. I'm not playing Rhoda. I'm not playing Regeki either because I don't think Regeki's that great. But I'm not playing Rhoda because I just feel like it's not that important to add the Phantom Knights. I'd just rather play a smaller deck. But Foolish like can do anything, so we have to play that. And Soul Charge is just like really good, so got to play that as well. For the traps, we are playing 3 Fogblade. Only Phantom Knight trap you really need. Wing is like kind of cool, but it's not really consistent, so I don't want to play that. And then very last, we have Spiritual Swords of Revealing Light. Maybe you've heard me talk about this card before. I like it a lot. It's good against a lot of stuff, really. I mean, just flipping it up in the battle phase is good, but it's also good for like not letting you die when you mill it. You can just like mill it on the first turn, second turn, whatever, and then later on in the duel, when your opponent's forgotten about it, you can use it to clutch a game. I think cards like that are kind of neat, so that's why I'm playing that. And the other, I mean, this card's pretty good on the field as well. You can block a lot of attacks with it. You can prevent yourself from just totally losing to like dinosaurs or true Dracos just by flipping this up. And if they can't out it, you've at least bought yourself a turn. Even if you are taking some damage, you're not taking like a ridiculous amount of damage. Anyway, that was the main deck. 42 cards, like I said. I suppose you could cut maybe a couple things to get to 40, but I think at 42 it's fine, especially with the desires and stuff. For the extra deck, we are playing 3 Dante. Dante doesn't get negated by Ghost Ash, so I guess this deck is still alive. I don't know. That's kind of what made me want to play this deck, was that Dante doesn't get screwed by Ghost Ash, whereas everything else does in the game right now. But yeah, I mean, Dante is still good. You have lots of good mills in this deck. I don't know. Is there anything else to say about this? I know some people cut Dante to 2 right after people like right before people stop playing Burning Abyss. People just were like, I'm only gonna play 2 Dante, but I think in this build you want to play 3 because you just really want to keep recycling your cards to maintain card advantage. Because really right now, this deck is all about floating and just outfloating your opponents. The top decks right now are pretty good at maintaining resources, but they don't have a lot of floaters. I mean, if you like think about should all Burning Abyss format, like every card added something back when it died. It's not really what this format's quite like. It's more about unbreakable boards. But you can just sort of slow roll and your opponent can't kill you. So that's kind of neat. The 1 Beatrice and then the 1 Fusion Dante guy. Pretty standard. I'm not playing Virgil. I don't think that card's very good. We are playing 2 Levier Sea Dragon. This is really important for getting back your resources. You can get back stuff that you banished with Barbar to do some neato plays. But more importantly, you can get back the banished Phantom Knights. That's the main deal with it. And then, like I said, with Tekatomborg, you can just special summon it when you have Levier, and that can do a lot of combos. But there are a lot of OTKs that require 2 of this card, so I felt like you absolutely have to play 2 if you're playing Phantom Knights. That's just sort of like a general rule. We don't have a lot of room, so we're playing just the 1 Breaksword, 1 Rebellion. Breaksword isn't super amazing right now anymore. There's just a lot of chainable stuff that just screws it up, but this is good. Especially because if you summon Breaksword and they pop it with Trident, because like they have to, you just get the Rebellion, which is kind of neat. 1 Acid Golem, he has a big booty, so gotta play him. 1 Nightmare Shark for cheesing wins that you probably shouldn't have gotten in first place. 1 Grand Pulse. No, I don't have an ultimate. Please don't hate me, but Grand Pulse is still just like a good card. Once again, big booty. And we're not playing blue layer, obviously, so we can't get the quick play effect, but just popping macro is good. Sometimes you just like actually can't afford to waste a Breaksword and pop itself. Like if you can only make 1 rank 3 and you need to pop a back row right then without like losing field presence, this is definitely the way to go. So it's good for that reason alone. 1 Totem Bird. You won't usually make this. Usually you just want to mill cards, but there are some hands, like let's say you open Terratop, a Phantom Knight, Boots, and a Burning Abyss monster. In that case, you can make Totem Bird Beatrice, which is a pretty threatening field. I mean, relatively threatening. So that's usually the only case you want to make Totem Bird. Also off a Soul Charge is pretty good. one mech-equipped Engineer. Not sure how I feel about this card. Mainly this is like an extra Beatrice, and I know that doesn't make a ton of sense, but you can make this with like a Rhino or a Farfa under it, and then use its effect on itself to switch it to defense, and then banish card with Farfa. That was something that I was doing in Sky Scourge Truffleburn Innovis, and it's something that I do in this deck as well. Lastly, 1F0. We can basically never make this when links come out, so I want to play it in every deck that I can before it goes away forever. Yeah, F0 is just really hard for some decks to get over still. I don't know. It's like a card that people never think about, and then when you summon it, they're like, how do I kill this? And that's kind of funny. Yeah, 15 card extra deck, obviously. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this deck profile, and hopefully you're ready for some more deck profiles. We got Subterras coming up, as well as some others, so stay tuned. And I will see you guys later. Bye.